Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David.
So you were at the game tonight?
I was at the game tonight, top row of the Reds behind the attacking net, or sorry, top row of the upper bowl. So a long way from the ice, but great view of the overall ice surface, and you can see pretty much everything from up there, albeit in miniature.
When my dad had season tickets in the '80s, and I went with him. That's where we sat in the top corner. Great place to watch a hockey game.
The Howie Meeker view.
Very great place to become a very judgmental fan because it looks so easy from up there.
The Howie Meeker view.
Yeah.
Howie used to always stick a camera way up in the highest corner of the building, and then he would cover the whole ice surface with his analysis, with his expert analysis and his squeaky voice, but his analysis was good. I learned a lot from Howie.
He was. Is he still alive, Bruce?
I believe he is. I think he's 95 years old now.
Wow. Amazing. Astonishing.
All right. I played at Prince of Wales Arena in St. John's, Howie Meeker's hockey school. Like he ran and I played once a week there back in the days when I was a goalie. And Howie ran half ice. He had a game in one half, and he had a workout practice in the other half, and then he switched halfway through. So each kid got some game time and some drill time.
He was ahead of his time in that way. I mean, we've gone to the...
Yeah, we're talking, I mean, this is in the 60s. It's like last century sometime.
Okay, Bruce, the Oilers lost 4-2. It was a bit of a stinker game, quite honestly.
It was dull.
Defensive effort. It was a lifeless, crappy, no good for nothing game from the Oilers fan perspective. The only good news, I guess, is Connor McDavid was back. He was flying. He had lots of rust on him, but that is completely not expected, or not unexpected, I should say. And we're not going to dwell on it. We're not going to talk about him and Draisaitl because there's not, it's so early. It's meaningless, essentially. What we are going to talk about, Bruce, is the bubble players. The players who probably have made the roster, but we still don't know their roles. That's still being worked out. So let's start with Sam Gagner, who was started on the second line, didn't finish there. They bumped up Chase on by the end of the game for a shift or two. And so I thought Gagner actually, he made an absolutely gorgeous cross-seam feed to James Neal for a scoring chance early in the game, but was otherwise really quiet. And, I think I like him as a player. I think he can find a role on this team. Again, I think with both the RNH and the Sheehan line, I would say the same thing. They both look a little slow to me, and a little. They could use some speed. Simple as that. They need a bit, and especially the Sheehan line. I'm just worried about where is the offense going to come from. And I know they did score a goal tonight, but I'm not seeing a lot of offense from that group of players. So, I could see maybe Gagner bumping down to the Sheehan line and you move Nygaard up. But what did you think of Gagner?
Well, you look at the stats and what jumps off the page is -3. That line got burned for 3 different goals. And now, granted, the mistakes weren't made by the forwards on some of those goals. But defensively, they're not great, and there was, one of the key turning points of the game was a play where Neal had a great chance in front and he wasn't able to finish it, and then puck went the other way, just bingo, bango, bomb, right into the net. And about 5 seconds later, it seemed like. So there was a little bit of vulnerability at the back end. Gagner also took a penalty, so on the whole. Not a great night. A couple of good passes. He's a smart, crafty player with the puck, as we know. I mean, we've been watching him for years. But I'm not sure how comfortable he is on the left wing, to tell the truth.
And the first goal against Bruce should have been a penalty for Arizona. Nugent Hopkins, at least I watched the replay about 5 or 6 times.
Oh, well, and you would know better than I. I just saw a breakdown.
Nuge lost the puck on the boards. well, it was kind of lost, and the Arizona player grabbed his stick. Nugent
Hmm.
was trying to get his stick back, and he couldn't chase the play. The 2-on-1 happened because he was essentially neutralized by someone grabbing his hockey stick. So not only was a penalty missed, in my opinion, but it was punished with a goal against.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, and it
So
hurts when it does.
that was, I don't know, maybe no one else saw it that way, but that's how I saw it. Um, let's go Archibald, Sheehan, and Kara. I'll just deal with quickly all at once, Bruce. I thought Archibald
Okay.
played easily his best game.
Yep.
Finally saw his A game. I think he was really strong on the PK, flying all over
Hmm.
the ice,
Hmm.
making plays. He took the hard shot that went in off, deflected it off Riley Sheehan, who did the right thing and went to the net.
Hmm.
I liked his game a lot. I'm not sure though that I like, and I know a lot of Kara was the second star, and Sheehan scored a goal. He had another good scoring chance, but I'm not sure I like them both together in the line. And I think in the end, they're two similar players. They're both kind of big, slowish guys,
Hmm.
and I have a feeling that line needs more skill and speed if it's going to be effective this year. And so San Gagné could bump down and perhaps provide the skill, or they could try Nygaard there, um, or Yurko. So Thomas Yurko. So I'm not in love with the grind line right now. What's
Hmm.
your take?
Well, honestly, tonight the bottom six far outplay the top six for the Oilers,
Oh,
and that line generated some nice pressure in the offensive zone on the cycle. Uh, Archibald, in particular, 5 shots on net. And he was darting around and being a pain in the butt, playing against his old team, eh? So he had a little extra, maybe, motivation in the tank tonight going into this game, albeit an exhibition game. You know, players play against their old friends and maybe their old coach. Maybe there's somebody they want to stick it to too,
GM.
right? Yeah, the old GM. Yeah. Anyway, he had a burr in his saddle tonight, and it was good to see. But you know what? I think that's the way he normally plays when he's effective, at least. Like last year, anytime I noticed him with Arizona, it was because he was being a pain in the ass. You know, he was just buzzing around and hitting guys and, causing turnovers and forechecking and just generally being a pain to play against. So I certainly saw that tonight, and I was very encouraged because of previous showings. He didn't show a lot, frankly.
Sheehan won 10 of 12 faceoffs,
Yeah.
and McDavid won 9 of 12.
The team won 33 of 47, 70%. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. Maybe Tippett is the face-off whisperer.
Well, he's an old center, isn't he? So
Yes, he sure is, and he was a good face-off man himself way back in his day.
Bruce, the line that I loved was the fourth line.
Hmm.
I just love the energy of that group of players, and I think Alex Chason really had a great game. He was just
Hmm. He's been
really
good all preseason
important.
to my
He's
eyes.
such a smart hockey player, hardworking hockey player, rugged hockey player. Makes up for his lack of speed with all of those things, and he brought his A game. Colby Cave was unlucky not to score. I mean, Russell put the puck on net, Patrick Russell, and he had three chances right in tight at one point. So, and Patrick Russell just continues to impress, uh, as Bruce McCurdy might once have said, in Pisani-like fashion. Just as a
Ah.
solid, hardworking two-way winger. So good for Patrick Russell. He's the kind of player, obviously, that Tippett likes, and he's earned a job on this team, and I think he's earned a job on the fourth line. He and Cave played the most PK, so like really active
Hmm.
PK night. He and Cave, they had one miscue on the power play that could have been a bad one, but excuse me, at least Cave did. But they were really strong. So good for those three players.
I was watching that, early in the first period when Gagne took the early penalty on the second shift of the game. So at that point, Tippett had his third and fourth line both on the bench, completely fresh. Neither one of them had played at all. And he jumped past the third line to the fourth line, or at least as I envisioned the fourth line, for the first penalty kill. And he went with Cave and Russell. And then when they did their job and got the puck down the ice, they changed off, and then out came Sheahan and Archibald on the second unit. And then Cave and Russell came back to finish off that first penalty kill. And they played over 4 minutes apiece on the penalty kill tonight, and the Archibald pairing was around 2.5 minutes. So clearly there was a hierarchy, 1, 2, and Nuge and Kara were actually the third penalty killing pair that got a little extra time because of the 4 minute penalty. You need to have at least three pairs to kill that. And that was the highlight of the game to me, was Oilers penalty killing. And what a pleasure. I mean, it wasn't perfect. They struggled to get the puck out on one, if not two shifts where they kind of got stuck in their own end for a solid minute. But nothing really dangerous. And Arizona really had, their A power play. I mean, they had Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Phil Kessel, Clayton Keller. These are good players. And they were zipping the puck around, but the Oilers PK held their own. And this is one area where the club absolutely has to improve. By you have to cut down 10 to 15 goals against over the course of the season. Because last year they were 30th in the league, and they've been terrible for years on the PK. And it's something Holland clearly addressed in the offseason, bringing in guys like Shane and Archibald and Marcus Granlund, who missed tonight's game, but guys that have killed penalties on other teams. And did so more successfully than the incumbents. So I'm looking for big changes on that unit.
Good to see Zach Kassian not on the
Yeah,
PK.
exactly.
Kassian's been part of the problem for a couple of years now. He's not a good PK player. And,
I get they're trying to find a special teams role for him, but he just is not that good on PK. And if they can upgrade him to Patrick Russell or a Josh Archibald, then great. That's a place the team can be improved. So do it.
So when I look at the players who are still with the Oilers and didn't play tonight, the forwards at least, Nygaard, Haas, Granlund, Yurko, and Bertasov, it looks like if they go with 14 forwards, that Granlund and Nygaard, I'm guessing, will be the two other forwards, and Haas will go and Yurko will go down. I think, though, Yurko will have a chance, one more chance maybe.
At least, yeah.
And Bertasov will. They're going to want to sit. Did they just have the one more game?
They have two more games, Thursday and Saturday. They're in Vancouver and then Calgary.
Okay, so we'll see them.
So we'll see everybody play at least once more. And I would think tonight was probably the strongest lineup that they're going to ice all week, because they wanted to show the home fans the sort of the main team. I mean, these are basically the top four lines and the top three pairings, as I listed in my post the other day, that they practiced with in Kelowna. So they basically took the cream of the crop as they had laid it out there, and that's what was playing tonight. Now, you can say the results weren't good, but you can't say that they didn't ice a pretty as strong a lineup as they could. Let's put it that way.
It's too slow, Bruce. This team's too slow. I think the forward lines are too slow.
Nygaard's going to be in there because he can skate, and they don't have enough of that high end speed.
Fast?
Yeah, I think he's pretty fast.
So
we haven't really seen him make much of a contribution, and now he's hurt, and you wonder if he's been sort of had something nagging or whatever, because he made zero impression, frankly, to me in the two games that he played.
Yurko is not slow. He's I don't know if he's fast, but he's very smooth. He's a very slick. So
he's crafty. Yeah.
We'll see. I'd like to see, for instance, Gagner and Kara go out of the lineup next game and put in Nygaard with RNH and Neil, and maybe or Yurko with RNH and Neil, and Nygaard with Sheehan and Archibald. Just go with the fastest version of the lineup. And if Granlund's healthy, you could put him in as well, I guess.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And just go with the fastest version of the lineup you can find and see how that looks. So on defense, Bruce, Evan Bouchard was sent down, which is I have to say I'm glad. Like, it's he looked okay, but he's got some defensive weaknesses. Let's see him dominate in the AHL. It certainly wouldn't, like with Kailer Yamamoto last year, he should have started obviously in the AHL and shown that he was ready to dominate down there before he gets the call up to the NHL. So you could easily see some coach, thinking keep Bouchard around, but I'm glad they've sent him down, and I think it's gonna help him. It's interesting, Persson only played, I think, 7 minutes because he went out with an upper body injury. So this leads me to think, and I could be incorrect, like sending Bouchard down when either they're just completely sold on Ethan Bear, which could be the case, or it could be Joel Persson they know is not that badly hurt already, but there's no report on that yet. So what do you make of Bouchard being sent out, and Shane Starrett, of course, which is not unexpected at all?
Yeah, well, the goalie situation's been a slam dunk since July 1st.
Yeah.
So zero surprise there, and more power to Shane Starrett. If he can put another great season together down in Bakersfield, then next year he will be a serious candidate to grab an NHL job. But the timing of the Bouchard one is funny, as you say. I mean, you lose a right defenseman during the game, and then you send out another right defenseman after the game, and all of a sudden you don't have a lot of cover left in that position. Now, Tippett in the post game didn't have much information about the Persson injury other than it was upper body. I guess somebody hit him along the boards just towards the end of the first period. But they set it up that he was actually supposed to run the power play tonight. Well, guess what? By the time they finally got a power play in like the third period, he was long gone from the game. So we never got a chance to see that plan in action, not even once. So I was a bit sour about that. Anyway, I don't know what the Oilers have such a hard time drawing penalties. I don't know what the hell it is, but anyway. Anyway, it's Bouchard. It's the right move, and for the reasons that you say. I mean, the last 3 years I've tried to jam some kid into the starting lineup off the start of the season, be it Puljujärvi or Yamamoto or even Bouchard himself last year. Let him go down there, and if he dominates right away, then great. I mean, he could be back here sooner than later. I mean, Darnell Nurse, his 20-year-old season, he was back before the end of October, and he never left. And if he's ready by then, great. But don't put him in a position where you start him up here, and then he hits a wall, and then what do you do? Now you're sending him out, and you get into this business where it looks like the kid's going backwards. And we've seen how that worked with Puljujärvi and Yamamoto both, that they wound up, being on the darn elevator up and down a few times. And I'm not sure it was in fact, I'm pretty sure it wasn't for their long-term good.
That Bakersfield team, Bruce, is going to be stacked this year. I mean, Lagesson, Bouchard, Keegan Lowe, Caleb Jones, Samorukov on defense. They've got Marody, Yamamoto, Benson, Gambardella, Malone. They'll have Curry, McLeod, Maximov, Hebig, and either Yurko or Russell. So this is looking like a really strong team, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together. But we'll have to get the AHL package again, and I'll be watching some of those games now and then to check in.
Me too. This team is too tempting to watch now after seeing them in the playoffs last year. Yeah, I'm going to.
It's only like $70 or $80 to get it, and you watch 10 games, and you've kind of got your money's worth. So I guess the last thing, let's just quickly, the last thing I want to talk about with tonight's game is I just thought the defense, they weren't ready to play the number of minutes that they had to play after Persson went out.
Right.
And they just really, I thought it was like, I didn't think one defenseman had a good game. Not one of them had a good game. And most of them had, below average games. Starting with Nurse and Larson, and Benning wasn't strong. And it was really, like you say, it was just so disappointing to see Persson go out. Here he is. He's just ready to make the NHL. He's ready for that, and he's playing okay. He's playing well, and boom. So hopefully it's nothing much. But at least the Oilers have the depth now. They've got Ethan Bear, who's a very comparable player to Joel Persson, so they can plug him right in. I mean, what this might mean, Bruce, is we'll see Ethan Bear on the second pairing with Oscar Klefbom.
Huh.
Wowzer.
Yeah. Scary. Any rookie defenseman in the top four is scary to me. And he's still a rookie. Yeah, same thing, really.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the only non-rookie they have that they could put there is, well, either Chris Russell playing on his wrong side or Matt Benning. And I didn't mind seeing those two lining up each on their proper side in the third pairing tonight. But, of course, once Persson went out, It was good old reliable, versatile Chris Russell who wound up being the fifth guy who flipped back and forth from right to left to right to left, shift after shift, and once again a reminder of how that it's valuable to have a guy who can do that. That when you're in a pinch, like in a game where you're down to five, you're going to need a guy who can switch back and forth even within a single game. And Chris Russell, he was a little unlucky, I think, on the fourth goal, but I didn't think he was terrible. Adam Larson, I didn't think he was terrible, other than that one brutal giveaway where he
Yeah, but
tried to do
that
that thing up the middle and he put it right on the goal scorer's
yeah, but
stick bang in the net.
McDavid's got to be there too, Bruce. Like that,
Yeah, well,
that was a communication issue. Like
yeah.
that is the play. That's the
Hmm.
play, and it's up to the center also to know, hey, that's the play. So I can't be charging up the ice. Like if I'm, and again, this might be the issue that I've long thought between McDavid and Draisaitl. Like who is the center? Who's supposed to be there? Like who's the guy who's supposed to be
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
McDavid's maybe thinking, I got to charge up to the wing here because I'm like I don't know. He was
Anyway.
he was out of position too. So that's I'm saying that's a 50-50 thing. And maybe
Yeah, I'm thinking it's if the Arizona guy is that close to the front of the net, throwing the puck out there between your legs is probably not a good move. Anyway, that blunder aside, and it's hard to overlook it. But Larson played 27 minutes. He had three shots. He had three hits. He had six block shots. Like he was very involved in the game, and I thought he played okay. But there was breakdowns. I mean, Nurse got burned up ice on the one goal, and the 2-on-1, the old bugaboo 2-on-1. The other guy, one guy gets caught on the pinch. The other guy can never seem to take away the pass, and boom. So
yeah, not very. Yeah, we're kind of down in the dumps right now. It seems that's what I'm saying.
well, it's fun to see McDavid there, and he and Leon, but just tiny little glimpses of what they're really capable of. Just moments, and otherwise, there was a lot of the top players on the team didn't really put in a strong performance, and the bottom six was good, so that's a good sign. But the bottom six is not going to win games for the Oilers. What we need them to do is not lose games for the Oilers, and they did not lose this game.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I think we know the top six, at least the top three, are going to get better. And Nuge is playing
Yeah, yeah.
lights
The
up.
second line's kind of scary, David. I got
Well,
to say.
yeah, but Nuge might be carrying that line on his back. Like he's a man possessed right now. He's playing the best hockey I've ever seen him play. So we'll see how that all works out. But it's good to have these two bottom six because they were just rancid last year. Those two lines were terrible almost the whole year. So if they can get the bottom six to go, that's huge. I just I'm a little worried about. Obviously, I'm worried about goaltending and about the defense. I think the forwards are going to work out. I have a sense they have enough players there to plug in, and they're hungry, and they've got some skill and talent and a mix of players, and that they're going to be okay. But I'm still worried about goalie. Although Mike Smith moved the puck very well, that was really encouraging. We haven't seen that since Grant Fuhr, maybe passing the puck well.
Yeah, Freddie Brathwaite, maybe. Anyway, yeah, it's been a long time since we had a good puck handling netminder, and Smith is, I think, he's capable of the occasional spectacular blunder, which we didn't see tonight, but we will see at some point. But I think the many little positives more than make up for the occasional big negative. And the trick for the Oilers is going to be for the team to adapt to which of the two
Yes.
netminders is playing in a given game because their two styles are very, very different. And it's possible. I mean, the team can do that. I mean, when the Oilers had Grant Fuhr and Andy Moog, they had one puck moving goalie. And certainly when they had Dave Dryden and Don Smoky McLeod, they had one crazy man who could really move the puck, and the other guy that was as conservative as could be. And so the team had to adjust to who's in net tonight. Oh yeah, okay. We both defensemen go to the corners, and we leave the puck in the middle for the goalie to handle. It's like you really have to change your positioning and everything as a defenseman, because it's like having a third defenseman backing you up. The old sweeper keeper, we call him in soccer, and Mike Smith is one of those. It's
Remember
going to be
that
fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to occasionally be not fun, but I think mostly it'll be
I think
a
it'll
little,
be good.
little more interesting.
Remember that year they had Jacques Plante? They had kind of have
Yes.
Smith at the Jacques Plante point of his career here, right at the end, and we'll see how he does. Plante was okay, as I recall. All right, Bruce, let's leave it there for tonight.
All right, David. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.